Hi, welcome back to the College Cinephile, and today we're going to be reviewing The Invisible Man 2020 edition.
And with us here in the studio, ladies and gentlemen, The Invisible Man!
I don't think he shut up.
I don't think he showed up either.
Hello, and welcome back to the College Cinephile. My name is Marcus. I'm joined today with Murrell, and today we're going to be talking about the newest Dark Universe creature being brought to the screens, and that is The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man was directed by Lee Gwinnell and cast Elizabeth Moss and Oliver Jackson Cohen as the Invisible Man himself. Now, Murrell, what'd you think of it?
You know, I gotta say, overall, I thought it was a very impressive storyline on how they took it from the original H.G. Wells novel and put it into a modern day setting. Rather than having an elixir, they used a specialized suit, and I fully believe that this was much more scarier in the fact that its possibility is ramped up by 100. The sheer fact that Elizabeth Moss is a woman who is being stalked by her former ex-boyfriend, and just for the sheer fact that, you know, the possibility of this is all the more real, because I imagine people that have gone to see this movie have at one point, you know, been stalked by somebody they could care less for.
Yeah, exactly. Like this, I was thinking about this throughout the movie. I was like, if there was ever a modern take on this kind of character, I feel like this would be it. A very stalkerish character, and they push that towards the like sort of abusive relationships that come with everyday life. And it brings it to a whole new light of the terror that comes with it, with the supernatural sort of elements in it. And I feel like with it, a modernization of this movie was aced all the way, with some plot holes strewn throughout, but I feel with plot-wise, beginning to end, I feel like it served its purpose as being this psychological thriller. Moving on to performances, what do you think of Elizabeth Moss or The Invisible Man?
I felt for Elizabeth Moss in this movie. I felt for her life, for her safety, the safety of her friends and her family, and just overall, you want to see her survive.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just an excellent performance by Moss altogether. As for the Invisible Man, he was in it so briefly, or the time we actually got to see him on camera, that we have to believe that he's this sociopath.
Yeah.
And by the end of the movie, they did kind of confirm the idea that he was a sociopathic monster who is capable of manipulating people.
Yeah, and you kind of see that. It's a weird thing where the last time we saw Oliver Jackson Cohen was in The Haunting of Hill House, I believe, and he kind of played this uppy character that was just trying to survive. But this time around, he kind of switched gears. Like, this time he was very monotonous with his words. He was very dragging with them. He was trying to emulate evil through like eyes and stuff like that. And I feel like with characters like that, you really get that bit. So even if he's invisible for most of the film, you still like sort of feel that piercing eyes at you.
Absolutely, for the sheer fact that he can see you.
Yeah,
but you can't see him.
Exactly.
It's all the more anxiety-inducing.
Yeah, and I feel like with that comes like the scares in the movie itself and how they were done. So a majority of this film, this was shot on a $7 million budget, which is quite low for a movie.
Oh,
but
very much so.
With The Invisible Man, you can do so much with that, right?
Yes, less is more in this case, which I really do appreciate. Not to mention the choreography was very impressive for the sheer fact that how do you fight something invisible?
Yeah, exactly.
Without looking like, you know, a complete
Crazy person.
swinging around your arms and whatnot, but it's...
And the scares themselves were very creative, too.
Oh, very much so. There was the scene of where Moss was up inside the attic. She had found her boyfriend's phone, realizing that he's still very much alive and kicking.
Yeah.
And to the point where, as she goes back down the ladder, she spills paint on top of the Invisible Man, and just identifying that, oh, he is invisible. He is real.
Yeah, it was. I always like those scares because you don't expect it in your head.
No,
because people make decisions all the time where they knock something over, and there'll always be that one moment where it just hits something it's not supposed to, or it covers something it's not supposed to, and then you're just like, that was standing there the entire time, and I just realized it with the character. And I feel like with that just comes this sort of scariness to it, and that's what The Invisible Man was about.
Absolutely.
Moving on to a bit of sort of like the further performances for like these like section of characters, you know, the Dark Universe, whether that be Dracula, the Wolfman, all those bits. What do you think you would like to see next?
I would definitely like to see. I want to see the creature from the Black Lagoon taken to a modern day setting, for the sheer fact that it could be an environmental message, but also at the same time, just for the sheer idea that we as a collective society are urbanized and we don't get to see what is out there in the wild.
Yeah.
So it's that's something I'd like to see, and especially Frankenstein. I'd like to see Frankenstein redone.
Yeah, like a full, like, would you think a modernization of Frankenstein would be proper, or would you feel like retelling the original Mary Shelley novel?
We have the novel and we have the original Universal movies from the 30s. I would like to see this in a new light. Perhaps maybe a scientist brings back their dead spouse for a short amount of time, but only to realize that what they'd done was a mistake. And the creatures must be put back in a rightful place.
Yeah.
That's something I'd like to see.
And I feel like with like this film like this and the ideas we're passing back and forth, this brings on a new big conversation of these monsters that we've seen in the past, like they were big in their time.
Oh, very much so.
And then they kind of died with age. But with this could be another spark that Universal tried to do with their Dark Universe with the Mummy, trash. And you just try to redo it now with a bunch of good writers. Blumhouse did it with Invisible Man. If like Universal can kind of make a deal, kind of bring in new lights to new characters, I feel like we have a new age of horror among us.
Absolutely. I think this is a real home run for not just for Universal, but also Blumhouse.
Exactly. If you could give it a rating, what would you rate it?
You know, I gotta say, this, aside from the plot holes through the movie, I'd give this a solid 4 out of 5. I don't think it's revitalized the monster movie genre, but it's definitely showing signs of new life.
It's a starting point. This could be a good kicking point. As for me, I think a 4.5 out of 5 is good for me. Those plot holes did affect it for me, but yeah, I feel like it was nearly what I was looking for and what I was expecting. So yeah.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Thank you for watching the College Cinephile today. If you like what we do here, please hit that like button. If you really like what we do here, please hit that subscribe button as well.
And also leave a comment for which Universal movie you want to see next.
And definitely check out all of our other videos too. They're right there for you to click, right there. And that's all we got today. We will see you later, Internet.
Catch you later.